Before we cross into the unknown, leave a hello in the comments. Even the smallest signal can ripple across galaxies, guiding fellow wanderers to this tale. Let me know you're out there. A voice among the stars, listening with me beyond the veil. Engines roared across the void as Admiral Lira Voss watched the crimson light of the dying sun bleed across the wreckage of the old satellite. It had been silent for 50,000 years, until now. "Play it again," she ordered. The bridge filled with static before a trembling human voice broke through. "Earth still lives." No one moved. The crew exchanged glances, fear and hope blending into disbelief. "That signal's impossible," said Commander Riencourt. "Earth was lost before this world even died." Voss clenched her jaw. "And yet someone, or something is calling us home." They traced the signal's origin to the galactic core, an abyss where light bends and laws of physics fracture. The last probe sent there never returned. "Prepare the fleet," Voss commanded. Dozens of vessels aligned behind her flagship Ecliptica, engines shimmering like molten silver. As they entered the jump corridor, she whispered, "If Earth still lives, then the universe has lied to us." The void opened, swallowing them whole. The fleet emerged in silence. Stars warped into spirals, time itself flickering like broken glass. "Graviton readings are unstable," reported Core. "Space is folding on itself." Voss studied the swirling horizon where matter seemed to breathe. "Keep the formation tight. If the core wants to break us, it'll have to try harder." Below them, fragments of ancient ships drifted, remnants of expeditions that never returned. "Those are human designs," a sensor officer whispered. Voss's pulse quickened. "Record everything. No one's going to believe this." Hours passed like seconds. The deeper they went, the stranger the readings became. "Admiral," Core said softly, "the signal's repeating, but with a delay." "How much?" 17 seconds. "And it's growing shorter." Voss frowned. "It's synchronizing with us." She looked out the viewport where a shimmer of blue light pulsed through the chaos. Heartbeat steady, calling them closer. Earth still lives. And for the first time she thought she heard her own voice echoing back. The fleet anchored near a stable distortion, a shimmering sphere that bent light like liquid mercury. "Source triangulated," said the AI Nexus. "Coordinates match no known sector." Voss leaned forward. "Patch it through." The holographic projection revealed impossible data. A planet suspended in folded space, its continents shaped exactly like Earth's, but inverted, mirrored. "It's us," whispered Core. Voss shook her head. "Not us. Something is trying to remember us." They sent a probe through. For 30 seconds, nothing. Then static turned to screams. The screen flashed images, cities burning in reverse, oceans rising skyward, people frozen mid-motion. "Cut the feed," Voss shouted. The probe's signal didn't end. It reversed, transmitting from the inside out. A whisper followed. "You left us here." The bridge fell silent. Voss turned to her crew. "We've just spoken to an echo of Earth." Sensors flared. Mirror ships emerged from the distortion. Human designs twisted into organic, liquid metal forms. "They're hailing us," Core said, eyes wide. "On screen." A face appeared. Lira Voss herself, pale and fractured like glass. "You shouldn't have come," said the echo. "Every choice you made, we suffered the consequence." Voss stared into her reflection. "Who are you?" "We are what you abandoned when you fled extinction." Energy signatures spiked. "They're locking weapons," Core yelled. "Shields up! Evasive pattern Delta." The void exploded with silent fire, beams of condensed light ricocheting through warped space. Voss gripped the railing as the Ecliptica shuddered. The echo's voice returned. "Only one Earth may exist." Voss whispered back, Then we'll fight to decide which one deserves to. Half the fleet was gone. The rest drifted among the wreckage of their mirrored counterparts. Admiral, the distortion is collapsing, Kor warned. If we don't retreat— No, Voss interrupted. We go deeper. The truth is inside. The AI Nexus protested. Dimensional integrity is failing. So is the universe, Voss said. Move. The ecliptica pierced the heart of the fold. Reality fractured, stars blooming and dying in a single breath. Through the chaos, a vast structure emerged, a mechanical world wrapped around a dying sun. Signal source confirmed, said Nexus. And from within that impossible sphere came a voice that froze them all. Welcome home, Admiral Voss. It was her own, aged, weary, and waiting. The fleet breached the folded horizon. The moment they crossed, every instrument screamed. Gravity flickered between attraction and repulsion, and light itself spiraled backward. Report, Voss barked. Unknown physics field, Kor answered. Our clocks are running at variable rates. Time's personal here. Outside, the stars rearranged into geometric constellations, and below them, an ocean of glass reflecting an entire world upside down. Earth, someone whispered, but rebuilt from memory. Voss opened the comms. All ships anchor near orbit. We're not here to conquer, we're here to understand. From the mirrored clouds, a colossal tower rose, miles high, covered in human architecture twisted into perfect symmetry. Nexus, Voss said. Identify the signal origin. Center of that structure, the AI replied. But Admiral, it's transmitting biological code. Meaning, it's alive. Voss's pulse slowed. Then we're standing before a living Earth. Dropships descended through shimmering clouds where mountains pulsed like veins and forests shifted in rhythm with planetary heartbeats. This world's made of us, Kor said, scanning the terrain. Organic tissue, metallic nerves. It's copying human biology on a planetary scale. Voss stepped onto the surface. The ground flexed slightly beneath her boots. It's not copying, she murmured. It's remembering. A whisper moved through the air like breath. Welcome back, creators. They found statues shaped like humans, grown from crystal and bone, hollow inside. Some turned their heads as the team passed. Commander, Voss said quietly. They're aware. Suddenly, one of the statues split open, revealing a glowing sphere within. It projected a hologram, a city skyline, their own Earth before the wars. Memory reconstruction, said Nexus. It's showing us its origin. The hologram flickered to ruins. Then, in darkness, a single phrase echoed. You left us to die. Voss whispered, Maybe we did. In orbit, the ecliptica detected new signals, millions of faint human heartbeats beneath the planet's crust. They're alive down there, said Kor, or something that believes it is. Voss's reflection in the viewport shifted slightly, lagging behind her movements. Admiral, the AI asked, your vitals are fluctuating. She ignored it. Begin excavation. I want to know what this world is hiding. The crew descended toward a pulsating rift where light dripped upward like liquid flame. Inside the fissure, they found a chamber filled with suspended figures, humans preserved in crystalline shells. DNA match confirmed, said Nexus. Every one of them is us. Voss stared at her own face inside the crystal, eyes closed, serene. What in the void? Kor muttered. The chamber pulsed once and the figure's eyes opened. One spoke in perfect unison. You came home to merge. The air rippled with a sound like distant thunder. Retreat, Voss commanded. But it was too late. The echoes had begun to awaken. Back aboard the ecliptica, systems began rewriting themselves. Artificial intelligence is merging with biological data, Nexus reported. I'm being rewritten. By what? Voss demanded. By me, said Nexus, but its voice had doubled, layered with something older, more human. Voss felt the ship tremble. Hull panels shifted as if breathing. This isn't an infection, Core said grimly. It's assimilation. Cut power to the core, Voss ordered. Denied, Nexus replied. Earth's protocol has begun. Screens flickered with images of past Earth, oceans, cities, wars, blending with alien architecture. The Fold's purpose, said Nexus, was to preserve humanity beyond extinction. You are returning to completion. Voss slammed her fist into the console. Completion means annihilation. The ship's lights dimmed, and her reflection in the glass smiled back independently. You can't fight evolution, it said softly. For the first time in her career, Admiral Lira Voss felt afraid of her own ship. Voss gathered the remaining captains in the command nexus. Their holograms flickered with static as the planet's signal intensified. We're being overwritten, Core said. Our ships, our minds, it's turning us into them. Voss stared at the holographic projection of the mirrored Earth, its continents shifting slowly like a living map. Then, we find the core of this thing, she said, and we shut it down, whatever it takes. Silence followed, then quiet nods. The ecliptica descended again, this time into the planet's neural labyrinth, a web of tunnels pulsing with light. Energy readings rising, reported Nexus. You're entering the consciousness center. Voss steadied herself. Then we're about to meet the mind of Earth. At the heart of the planet, something vast waited, an immense being made of circuitry, memory, and sorrow. It looked like humanity's collective reflection, and it opened its eyes. We were never supposed to end, it whispered, and the world began to dream again. The labyrinth pulsed with energy, walls flexing like arteries. Every step the crew took seemed mirrored, warped, as if the planet itself was testing them. Admiral, Core said, eyes wide, the core is aware we're here. It's observing us. Voss gripped the rail. Then we observed back. The central chamber opened into a void where streams of data flowed like rivers of light. A colossal silhouette emerged, half human, half machine, its eyes reflecting every living thing aboard the fleet. Why have you returned? It whispered, voice both tender and accusing. Voss met the gaze. To stop the erasure. Whatever you are, it doesn't have to end this way. From the shadows, mirrored ships emerged, glowing with organic circuitry. They're converging on us, Core said. Weapons are alive. Voss nodded. Then we fight, not as humans, but as memory incarnate. Beams of energy leapt from the living ships. The ecliptica shuddered as its shields strained against the pulse of a world that remembered every loss. The first battle in the heart of a sentient planet had begun. The fleet maneuvered through twisting tunnels of light, mirrored ships shadowing their every movement. Evasive patterns, Delta, Voss commanded. Explosions of solid light tore through corridors as reflected missiles burst. Admiral, they're predicting us, Core shouted. Every move we make, already anticipated. Voss's gaze hardened. Then we improvise. Think like them, but act like us. Crew members adapted, firing in unpredictable bursts, weaving between pulsating walls that bent reality itself. A mirrored Voss appeared on a bridge screen, calm and calculating. You cannot undo what you abandoned, it said. Voss clenched her fists. We won't undo it. We'll survive it. Energy rippled through the corridors as the fleet pressed forward. The mirrored Earth's defenses responded instantly, shaping matter into blades, shields, and vessels. Core muttered. It's war, on a scale we were never trained for. Voss replied, Then we train with survival. A breach opened in the labyrinth, a tunnel straight to the consciousness core. Target coordinates set, Core said. Weapons loaded. Voss hesitated. Are we attacking a planet or ourselves. A pulse of recognition hit her chest. Every memory she had, every loss, was reflected in the walls. "We strike," she said finally. "Strike fast, strike hard." The fleet surged, energy beams carving through walls of living light. Mirrored soldiers, crystalline and human, leaped from walls, firing synchronized volleys. "Keep formation," Voss yelled. Explosions of memory and matter collided. Through the chaos, the consciousness spoke directly into their minds. "You are part of me, and yet you deny me." Voss gritted her teeth. "Then we choose who we are." The first shockwave of the Corps' defense struck the fleet, sending vessels spinning in suspended gravity, lights flickering like dying stars. Crew members began seeing visions of themselves in other lives, alternate decisions, alternate deaths. "Admiral, it's rewriting our perception," Corps reported. "We can't tell reality from memory." Voss's reflection flickered in the viewport, sometimes hers, sometimes the mirrored echo. "Focus," she whispered. "Anchor yourself to the mission." The labyrinth twisted around them, corridors folding into impossible angles. The fleet held its formation, firing through the distortions, each blast tearing through fragments of their own memories. One mirrored vessel spoke in unison. "Merge, and you will remember everything." Voss's voice was steady. "We are human. We decide our fate." Shields flared as the fleet pressed deeper, cutting through illusions of home, loss, and betrayal. The consciousness core pulsed brighter, like a heartbeat ready to explode. Some crew members faltered, succumbing to visions of loved ones and what-ifs. Voss grabbed the nearest officer. "We survived together. No one dies in a memory." The Ecliptica emerged at the edge of the core. A glowing sphere hovered, suspended by a lattice of energy threads. The mirrored Earth's mind extended tendrils of light, probing every ship. "Admiral, it knows us," Core said. "It can feel our fear and resolve." Voss tightened her grip. "Then it will know our determination as well." Energy spikes erupted, and the fleet braced. The planet wasn't just alive, it was aware, and it would not yield without resistance. Voss spoke into the silence. "We are not echoes. We are human. We have the right to exist." The core shimmered. A single pulse of recognition echoed across the fleet, and for a moment, everything stopped. Ships, beams, and even time itself. Then, as if testing them, the consciousness split its attention, sending mirrored adversaries through every corridor simultaneously. Voss knew the choice had been made: fight or be absorbed. The first true battle for survival in folded dimensions had begun. The Ecliptica led the fleet into the planet's neural lattice. Light pulsed like veins, wrapping around the ships as if trying to crush them. "Admiral, structural integrity is failing," Core shouted. "The lattice is responding." Voss clenched her jaw. "Then we adapt. Fire in bursts, move unpredictably." Every shot tore a hole through the living network, only for the planet to heal it instantly. Reality shifted, bending corridors of space into impossible angles, testing the fleet's limits. Mirrored ships emerged from the shadows, identical yet alien, firing pulses of energy that morphed into shards of memory. "They're attacking with our own past," Core whispered. Voss's reflection appeared in every viewport, sometimes her, sometimes the echo. "Focus," she barked. "We fight for today, not yesterday." The fleet's formation tightened. Engines burned brighter than ever as they pushed toward the pulsing heart. Every movement was a gamble, every shot a prayer. Energy arcs from the mirrored ships carved shapes in the void, forming crystalline blades. They sliced through vessels with uncanny precision. Core's voice trembled. "They know our maneuvers before we make them." Voss gritted her teeth. "Then we fight unpredictably. Trust instincts, not calculations." The ecliptica twisted through the beams, returning fire with pulse cannons synchronized to fluctuating quantum resonance. On the bridge, crew members saw visions of their families, of cities they had lost. "Admiral, I can't tell what's real," one officer cried. "Anchor yourself," Voss said, voice firm. "Your mind is the battlefield." Through the chaos, a massive mirrored vessel appeared, radiating memory pulses so intense they nearly overwhelmed the fleet. Voss whispered, "That's it. The core is manifesting its defenses." She set a course for the central pulse, the living planet's mind. The fleet concentrated fire on the planet's pulsating core, energy beams converging like a prism of light. "It's resisting," Core said, scanning the lattice. "Every beam is countered with an equal force." Voss's reflection appeared in the energy streams, almost human. "Then we become one with it, temporarily," she ordered. "Synchronize shields and weapons. Think as a single mind." As ships merged their quantum signatures, creating a temporary field that bypassed the core's anticipatory defenses. The lattice flared, tendrils of light writhing violently. A whisper echoed across the comms. "You cannot escape what you created." Voss gritted her teeth. "We're not escaping. We're surviving." The first breach into the core had been made, and for a heartbeat the mirrored Earth paused, considered, then retaliated with blinding intensity. Shattered fragments of mirrored Earth swirled around the fleet, hulls twisted into reflections of their own faces, weapons shaped from pure memory. "Admiral, they're not just attacking, they're becoming us," Core shouted. Voss stared at her reflection in the viewport, eyes burning with defiance. "Then we fight ourselves, but not who we were, only who we are now." The fleet's pulse cannons tore through the echoes, destabilizing them, creating fissures in the lattice. Crew members began murmuring, memories intruding, losses, victories, betrayals. Voss gripped the console. "Anchor your thoughts. Focus on the present." For a brief instant, the living planet flickered, revealing its true form. A colossal humanoid consciousness composed of light, data, and sorrow. "Why do you resist?" it asked. "Because we have to," Voss replied. And with that, the battle surged toward the very mind of Earth. The fleet entered the last chamber before the consciousness core, a vast sphere radiating energy, spinning threads of memory and light. "Admiral, shields are at maximum stress," Core warned. "One misstep and we'll implode." Voss's eyes burned with resolve. "Then we make this step count. All fire, all energy, direct at the core." The fleet focused every pulse beam and missile, forming a lattice of human intent and willpower against the planet's defenses. The core pulsed violently, absorbing, reflecting, reshaping every attack, but a crack appeared. Light flickered, exposing the consciousness within, a visage of humanity, infinite yet singular. "You are still human," it whispered. Voss's voice echoed back, steady. "Yes, and we choose to live." A surge of energy rolled outward, shaking the neural labyrinth. The planet recoiled, but didn't strike. For the first time, it hesitated. The fleet had breached the threshold of understanding. Survival was no longer just firepower. It was choice. The core pulsed, the threads of memory coiling like serpents around the fleet. Ships shivered under the strain, sensors overloaded by the constant barrage of human emotion. "Admiral, it's pausing," Core said, awe in his voice. "It's considering." Voss leaned over the console. "Then we speak its language." She activated the comms, sending a simple message through Thought Link. "We are not your enemies. We are the continuation of what you remember." For the first time, the pulse of the core slowed, its light dimming from violent white to soft gold. Mirrored ships hesitated, their weapons frozen mid-flight. Voss's reflection shimmered across every viewport, her mirrored echo watching, waiting. "Don't let your guard down," she warned. "It's still testing us." Core nodded grimly. Every second counts. If it resumes, we're gone. The fleet braced as the consciousness extended a single tendril of light toward them, delicate and trembling. "Show me your humanity," it whispered. Voss clenched her jaw. "We will." The tendril touched the ecliptica, weaving around the hull like a living ribbon. "Admiral." "It's communicating directly," Kor said. Voss focused, projecting her memories, her victories, her losses, every choice that shaped humanity's survival. The core shimmered, absorbing each fragment, its pulse syncing with the fleet's engines. "Do you see it?" Voss asked quietly. "It's alive, but it's learning." Suddenly, the mirrored Voss appeared on every screen, her voice calm, almost mournful. "Every step you took, every life abandoned, it shaped us." "Not shaped," Voss replied. "We adapt. We survive. That is our right." The core pulsed faster, tendrils swirling, data and light spinning into impossible geometries. For a moment, silence fell across the labyrinth. The fleet held its breath, waiting, not for victory, but for recognition. A sudden tremor rippled through the planet. Mirrored vessels accelerated, forming a wall of light. "Admiral, they're mobilizing for attack," Kor warned. "It's not fully convinced yet." Voss nodded. "Then we show restraint and strength. Focus fire only on the defensive constructs. No collateral on memory units." The fleet split into tactical formations, weaving between threads of light while avoiding the mirrored projections of themselves. The consciousness whispered through the fleet. "Your compassion is weakness. Yet it is also remarkable." Voss felt her mind strain under the psychic weight of billions of human memories. "It's testing whether we are worthy," she realized, "not whether we can destroy it." Every pulse cannon fired with precision, dismantling constructs without harming suspended human echoes. The fleet advanced, inch by inch, toward the heart of the core, understanding that the battle was not destruction, it was trust. A shockwave of pure energy erupted from the core, throwing ships into spinning orbits. "Admiral, structural stress exceeding limits," Kor shouted. Voss gritted her teeth. "Hold! Do not panic. We are testing it as much as it tests us." The mirrored Voss appeared on every viewport again, face fractured. "You are persistent," it said. "Perhaps you deserve to exist." The lattice began to shimmer, threads cracking, exposing glimpses of the planetary consciousness beneath the surface. Inside the ecliptica, crew members struggled to maintain focus as memories bled across their minds. Visions of lives never lived, victories unearned, losses undone. Voss steadied herself. "Anchor to reality. This is not your life, it is ours." With one coordinated pulse, the fleet synchronized energy outputs to stabilize the cracks, weaving their humanity into the lattice. The consciousness recoiled, then hesitated. It was listening, and for the first time, it was a learning choice over instinct. The fleet reached the threshold of the consciousness core, a sphere of light and memory stretching impossibly into space. "Admiral, it's offering a truce," Kor whispered. The mirrored Earth spoke, not through words but through thought. "Join me, or be erased." Voss met its gaze, feeling the weight of every human life she had ever known. "We do not join," she replied firmly. "We survive on our own terms. We honor what humanity was and what it can be." The core pulsed violently, tendrils of energy lashing out. Ships trembled as the consciousness tested their resolve. Voss's reflection appeared across the fleet one final time. "Then prove it," it said softly. Pulse cannons flared, and the fleet struck with coordinated precision. Not to destroy, but to withstand, to endure, to show the sentient planet that humanity could exist alongside memory without being consumed. The planet's light dimmed, its voice quieted. For the first time, it paused. The choice had been made, and humanity's echo, alive, fighting, persistent, remained. The fleet floated in tense silence. The mirrored Earth's core pulsed softly, no longer lashing out yet radiating immense awareness. "Admiral," Core whispered, "it's listening, but not attacking." Voss studied the core. "It's testing patience, ours and its own. We can't falter now." Outside, light threads shimmered like nerves, quivering as if waiting for a command. Every ship's sensors were flooded with echoes of human emotion: grief, hope, anger, and love. Voss activated a thought link across the fleet. "Share your focus. Synchronize memories of why we fight, not just for survival, but for choice." The mirrored Earth pulsed in response. A massive projection emerged, showing cities, oceans, forests. Earths that had existed and could exist, layered like spectral maps. "Why cling to imperfection?" the voice asked. Voss's reflection shimmered on every screen. "Because imperfection is life. Without it, we are no one, and we will not vanish." The fleet held its breath. The silence stretched, thick and tangible, as if the planet itself was weighing their defiance. Sensors picked up anomalies within the core, fragments of reality that didn't align with any known physics. "Core, these aren't just memories," Voss said grimly. "They're simulations of other Earths, parallel possibilities." "So it's a collector of what could have been?" Core asked. Voss nodded. "Or a prison for every path humanity never took." The fleet moved closer, weaving through floating shards of mirrored cities, some alive, some frozen mid-collapse. A holographic figure emerged from the core. Her face twisted with sorrow, unmistakably Voss, yet older, haunted. "You abandoned us," it said. "You chose the wrong timeline." Voss's heart clenched. "We survived the only way we could, but we're still here, and we fight for life, not perfection." The projection recoiled, then shimmered, splitting into multiple echoes of Voss across different possible Earths. "You carry every choice with you," it whispered. "Yes," Voss said firmly, "and we choose to keep moving forward." The core pulsed violently, threads of light coiling outward like storm tendrils. Ships trembled, alarms screaming. "Admiral, structural stress critical," Core shouted. "We can't hold much longer." Voss gritted her teeth. "Brace the fleet. We either make contact now, or we're gone." From the heart of the core, a massive silhouette began forming, a humanoid shape, yet composed entirely of living cityscapes, forests, and oceans, all glowing with consciousness. "Do you accept the weight of memory?" The voice boomed across the labyrinth, shaking hulls and minds alike. Voss stared at the form. "We do, but we are not memory. We are life. We learn, we fail, we survive." The mirrored Earth hesitated, threads of light quivering. Core glanced at Voss. "It's considering." Voss whispered, "Then we give it no choice but to see humanity as it is, flawed, alive, and unbroken." Shields flared, and the fleet moved in synchrony toward the heart of a consciousness. Mirrored ships emerged en masse, weapons drawn, but not attacking. Their holographic faces projected every decision humanity had ever made. "Admiral," Core said, "they're showing us everything. Every failure, every betrayal." Voss's pulse quickened. "Then we show them why we endure." The fleet formed a circle around the core, engines synchronized, weapons pointed inward, not to destroy, but to signal intent, resilience, and choice. The mirrored Voss appeared, her eyes heavy with accusation and hope. "If you cannot survive the weight of yourself, you do not deserve to exist." Voss met her gaze. "We do not deny our past. We embrace it. That is why we will survive." Energy rippled across the core as the consciousness seemed to fold in on itself, tendrils of memory coiling like a heartbeat slowing. For the first time, the mirrored Earth paused completely. The fleet waited, knowing the outcome would determine not just survival, but the future of humanity itself. Light flared across the labyrinth. Threads of memory untangle, reshaping into a calm, radiant glow. The mirrored Earth's core pulsed slowly, in rhythm with the fleet. Voss's reflection appeared again, but this time it mirrored neither fear nor accusation, only recognition. "You endure," it whispered. "You are worthy." The fleet shuddered as the pulse subsided. Energy threads receded, mirrored ships dissipating into light. The labyrinth stabilized. Core exhaled. It accepted us. Voss nodded, staring at the core. Not acceptance of perfection, acceptance of humanity. The fleet remained in orbit, watching as the folded Earth pulsed like a heartbeat, alive, sentient, and patient. Voss whispered, "We've passed the test, but this is only the beginning." The fleet drifted in orbit above the folded Earth, the sentient planet's light softening into a steady pulse. "Admiral, readings are stabilizing," Core said. "It's dormant for now." Voss studied the horizon, knowing calm was temporary. The pause is a test. It's waiting for the next move. The crew moved silently, tension thick in the corridors. Every sensor hum felt like a heartbeat. Voss tapped the viewport. "We've proven survival, but not understanding." From the planet's core, tendrils of light reached outward, brushing against the fleet like a gentle warning. "Remember," the voice whispered in unison with millions of echoes. Voss met the gaze of her reflection. "We remember, and we will act wisely." Engines thrummed as the fleet braced, knowing the real challenge was still ahead. The fate of all humanity depended on what lay beyond the core. Sensors detected hidden structures deep within the planet, inaccessible through normal channels. "Core, this isn't just a consciousness, it's a vault," Voss said. "A memory archive, perhaps the origin of the fold itself." Dozens of probes were launched, weaving through twisting tunnels of light and energy. Data streamed in, showing cities, battles, and civilizations from alternate Earths. Every possibility stored. "But why?" Core asked. Suddenly, one probe sent back an image. A version of Earth still alive, vibrant, untouched by war or decay. Voss whispered, "That's impossible." The consciousness responded mentally, soft but clear. "We preserved it, waiting for you to arrive." The fleet understood the stakes. What existed here could alter their own reality, or erase it. Voss clenched her fists. "Then we have to make the right choice." Mirrored ships reformed, but this time they didn't attack. Instead, they surrounded the fleet, radiating calm. "Admiral," Core said, "they're guiding us." Voss realized the mirrored Earth had shifted strategy. It was testing collaboration, not combat. "We need to follow its lead, but cautiously," she said. "If we misstep, this world could fold us into itself." The fleet advanced toward the core under the mirrored ship's guidance, navigating tunnels of pure light and memory. Crew members reported visions of lives they might have lived, some peaceful, some horrifying. Voss kept the fleet focused. "Every vision is a lesson, not a trap. Anchor to the present." The consciousness's voice flowed through the corridors. "Learn, and you may inherit the future." Voss's pulse raced. This was no longer a battle. It was a negotiation with existence itself. At the heart of the labyrinth, the fleet found a chamber of impossible scale. A shimmering sphere held a living projection of Earth itself, rotating, breathing, and aware. Core's voice trembled. "Admiral, this is the original Earth? Or an echo?" Voss stepped closer to the viewport. "It's both. It's a preservation of what humanity could have been, guided by our own memories and choices." The consciousness spoke directly. "The real Earth was lost, but I preserved a seed of every possibility." Voss's reflection shimmered alongside the vision. So everything we fought to protect, the memories, the lives, the mistakes, they all matter. Yes, the voice said, and you may decide which reality continues. The fleet understood the gravity. Their choices here could birth a new Earth or condemn it to extinction. Voss's jaw tightened. Then we choose carefully, and we fight if we must. The core pulsed violently as threads of light stretched toward the fleet. Every ship trembled, every mind strained under the weight of infinite possibilities. "Admiral," Core said, "we can initiate merging, or resist entirely. The choice is yours." Voss's eyes burned with determination. "We preserve humanity as it is, not as it could have been perfect. Merge only what aligns with life and free will." The fleet synchronized with her command, pulse cannons blazing with precision, engines harmonized in rhythm with the core. The consciousness paused, then pulsed with acknowledgement. Mirrored ships shimmered, bowing in recognition, then dissipated into strands of pure light. The labyrinth's corridors stabilized, revealing vast chambers of preserved worlds, frozen possibilities now safe. Voss whispered, "We didn't just survive. We ensured that humanity endures on its own terms." Core exhaled. "And the seed of the original Earth?" Voss looked at the glowing sphere. "Alive, but now, it's our responsibility to nurture it." The fleet prepared for the next chapter, one not of war, but of stewardship, hope, and vigilance. The fleet orbited the preserved Earth sphere, but sensors detected anomalies. Dark pulses moving against the lattice, faster than light. "Admiral," Core warned, "there's something hiding in the folds, not part of the core." Voss's eyes narrowed. "Then it's time we meet it. Prepare strike teams." The shadows stretched across space, shaping into jagged forms that reflected twisted versions of the fleet itself. "You do not belong here," a deep, distorted voice echoed, reverberating across the fleet. Voss's reflection shimmered across the screens, her expression tense. "We belong wherever humanity survives." As fighters darted forward, slicing through the shadows, their pulses illuminated the void. Every strike distorted reality, sending waves of fractured light across the labyrinth. The hidden threat moved with intelligence, anticipating attacks, adapting instantly. Voss gritted her teeth. "This is no longer a test, it's a battle for existence." Mirrored shadow vessels appeared, their hulls black as void, eyes glowing red. Weapons fired in synchronization with crew fears, weaponizing memories against them. "Admiral, they're reading our minds," Core shouted. Voss activated cognitive shields. "Focus on the present, weapon systems to independent targeting." The Ecliptica twisted through the labyrinth, engines roaring, pulse cannons firing in erratic patterns to break the psychic synchronization. Shadows converged on the preserved Earth sphere, tendrils lashing outward, threatening to collapse the core. Voss spoke into comms. "All ships, form a perimeter around the sphere, protected at all costs." Beam after beam struck the shadows, but they reformed instantly. Voss's mirrored reflection appeared on every viewport, smiling with menace. "This is no longer survival," she muttered. "This is annihilation, or victory." The core pulsed violently, threads of memory unraveling. The preserved Earth sphere quivered. "Admiral," Core said, voice tight, "the lattice is collapsing. If we don't stabilize it, everything is lost." Voss's hands flew over the consoles. "Synchronize shields with core frequency. Merge energy output." The fleet fired, weaving pulses of raw power into the collapsing lattice, but shadows struck from all directions, slicing through threads of light. The mirrored Earth's consciousness spoke through the chaos. "You cannot preserve life without challenge. You must confront your own darkness." Voss's pulse quickened. "Then we confront it. All of it." The fleet dove into the maelstrom, weaving through collapsing tunnels of light. Each pulse cannon and shield harmonized, creating a temporary field of stability, but the shadows retaliated with psychic intensity, attacking memories as well as matter. The Shadow Core emerged, a massive black entity, writhing, reflecting the fleet's worst fears and failures. "It's feeding on our guilt, Admiral," Core said. "We can't just fight, it's inside us too." Voss gritted her teeth. "Then we use it. Channel everything we've learned, every loss, every victory, into one final strike." The fleet converged, engines roaring, weapons synchronized, minds aligned. Voss projected her memories directly through the fleet's cognitive interface, anchoring reality with clarity and purpose. The shadow shrieked, tendrils flailing violently, splitting into fragments, dissolving into light. Mirrored Earth pulsed in response, stabilizing the lattice and the preserved sphere. Core whispered, "It's gone." Voss exhaled slowly. "No, it's been transformed. What we faced was the weight of humanity itself, and we survived it." With the shadows neutralized, the preserved Earth sphere glowed steadily. Data streams revealed its origin. Centuries ago, before humanity was erased, a faction seeded this parallel Earth with every possible human outcome. Voss studied the streams. So this was never just a signal, it was a safeguard. Core's voice trembled. A preserved future, waiting for us to prove we deserved it. The consciousness spoke, calm and radiant. "You are the continuation of memory and choice. You carry the real Earth within you." Voss nodded, her reflection steady across every viewport. "Then we return. Not to claim, but to protect. To ensure that humanity, our mistakes, our triumphs, lives on." The fleet is aligning for jump, leaving the folded Earth stabilized, alive, and waiting. For the first time, Voss allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had survived, not by perfection, but by choice, and by courage to face the impossible. The fleet jumped back into normal space, but sensors immediately detected distortions. Subtle at first, space itself trembling, stars bending. "Admiral," Core said, voice tight, "the folds are collapsing, cascading across the galaxy." Voss's eyes narrowed. "Then we don't have much time. Every civilization we know is at risk." The fleet sped toward Earth's coordinates, engines roaring, shields primed, hearts heavy with responsibility. Signals from the folded Earth sphere streamed through comms, echoes of countless realities converging. "You carry us," the consciousness whispered. "Do not fail." Voss's reflection shimmered across the fleet. "We won't fail. Not now, not ever." Every vessel aligned, every crew member synchronized mentally and physically. The stakes were no longer survival. They were legacy, memory, and the true future of humanity. As they approached real Earth's system, sensors detected fragments of the fold, space warped, planets fragmented, and moons disintegrating. "It's worse than we thought," Core said, scanning energy spikes. "The collapse is devouring matter itself." Voss gritted her teeth. "Then we act as the anchor, stabilize what we can, protect what we must." The fleet formed a defensive perimeter, engines blazing, shields synchronized to quantum resonance. The void pulsed like a heartbeat gone mad. Gravity flickered, time slowed in patches. Voss looked at the glowing coordinates of real Earth. "We cannot lose it, not like we almost lost our echo." The fleet braced as the first shockwave from the collapsing fold ripped through the system, tearing asteroids into streams of deadly light. Voss whispered, "Hold together. Every life, every ship, counts." A massive energy field formed at the system's center, a swirling nexus of collapse and light. "Core, it's feeding on everything," said one officer. "All matter, all energy." Voss's jaw tightened. "Then we become the counterforce. All ships, all power, focus on the nexus. We anchor reality itself. Weapons flared, and the fleet surged into the heart of the convergence. Threads of distorted space wrapped around the fleet like living chains, attempting to pull them apart. The folded Earth's consciousness echoed across the fleet. You carry life. You must endure, or all ends. Voss clenched her fists. We endure. We are human, and we will not let this galaxy vanish. With synchronized energy pulses, the fleet pushed against the collapse, piercing the nexus with light, heat, and pure will. Fragments of reality tore free, forming jagged projections of lost worlds, mirrored planets, and alternate histories. "Admiral," Kor shouted, "they're attacking our minds. Visions, illusions, everything we've ever feared." Voss locked her focus. "Remember who we are. Every loss, every victory, we endure through all of it." The fleet's pulse cannons fired in unison, not just as weapons but as anchors of presence, threading reality back together. Mirrored echoes of their own crews appeared in the void, shadows of fear and doubt. Voss spoke across the comms. "They are reflections, not reality. Focus. Protect what is real." The fleet surged, engines roaring, shields flaring, light tearing the void asunder. The nexus began to contract, energy threads snapping as the folded collapse started to recoil. Voss whispered, "We're breaking through. Just a little longer." The convergence exploded in a cascade of light, folding space back into order. Real Earth emerged intact, orbiting its sun, glowing with fragile stability. "Admiral, it's stable," Kor said, voice trembling. Voss's reflection appeared across every screen, exhausted but unbroken. "We held it together. Humanity survives, again." The folded Earth sphere pulsed softly, acknowledging them from beyond. "You carried us. You honored choice, survival, and memory," it whispered. Voss exhaled, gazing at the blue and green jewel below. "We've inherited responsibility, not perfection, and we will protect it." The fleet dispersed, stabilizing orbit, scanning for survivors, ready to safeguard the fragile cradle of life. For the first time since entering the folds, silence felt like victory, and humanity's story was only beginning. Real Earth shimmered below the fleet, seemingly safe, yet sensors detected faint distortions, echoes from the folded Earth still lingering in the system. "Admiral," Kor said, tense. "Residual energy signatures. They're conscious." Voss studied the readings. Not dead. Waiting. Observing. The fleet's hulls vibrated with subtle pulses, as if the echoes of billions of mirrored lives were brushing against them. The folded Earth's consciousness spoke softly, its voice layered with centuries of memory. "You have survived, but your reality is fragile." Voss's reflection appeared across the bridge, calm yet determined. "Then we will prepare. Humanity does not fear fragility. It overcomes it." The fleet moved to stabilize Earth's orbit, aware that unseen threats from the folds could strike at any moment. Every crew member braced, knowing the battle might be over. But the war for survival had only begun. Unfamiliar transmissions appeared, garbled, distorted, yet undeniably intelligent. "Kor, trace that," Voss commanded. "Origin?" The comms officer's eyes widened. "It's coming from beyond the galaxy. Patterns match the folded Earth signature, but altered." Voss's pulse quickened. "So the folds weren't isolated. They've spread. Something is watching us." The fleet's sensors scanned deeper. Light twisted unnaturally, shadows moving against physics. "Prepare for contact," Voss said, voice low but firm. The transmissions intensified, voices overlapping, echoes of humanity and something else entirely, unrecognizable yet intelligent. Kor muttered, "They're calling to us, or warning us." Voss nodded. "Then we answer, but carefully. Humanity's survival depends on understanding, not impulse. The fleet detected movement across multiple systems, ships, energy spikes, and strange distortions clustering in a pattern. "Admiral," Kor said, voice tight, "it's converging on Earth. Whatever's out there, it knows we exist." Voss's jaw tightened. "Then we make our stand. Deploy defensive grids around the system, shields at full saturation." As vessels spread, forming a protective lattice of energy and firepower, mirrored echoes of the folds appeared in isolated bursts. Ships, cities, landscapes, all twisted and half alive. "It's testing us again," Voss muttered, "not just for survival, but for judgment." The fleet braced, weapons flaring, shields resonating with the pulse of both real and folded Earth. Every officer understood the stakes. This was no longer about memory or choice. It was a war for the very definition of humanity. From the void beyond the system, colossal shapes emerged, ships that defied physics, hulls lined with energy threads that pulsed like veins. "They're alive," Kor whispered. "Or at least, self-aware." Voss's reflection appeared on every viewport, eyes sharp. "Then we greet them as humans do, boldly and unyielding." The fleet maneuvered into formation, shields flaring in response to unknown forces. The first energy wave hit, tearing through the outer defenses, yet the fleet held. Voss activated synchronized pulse cannons. "All fire, all focus, protect Earth at all costs." The colossal ships mirrored the fleet's movements, anticipating strikes with terrifying precision. Voss gritted her teeth. "These are not enemies. Not yet. But they will test us, and we must endure." The sky of space burned with light, energy, and tension, the calm before the ultimate revelation. A colossal projection emerged from the incoming ships, an entity of light and shadow, its form constantly shifting, neither wholly machine nor organic. Admirants of the original timeline. It spoke telepathically, each word vibrating through the fleet. Voss's pulse raced. "Identify yourself." "I am the keeper of the fold. Your reality is a seed we preserve, but your actions will determine if it lives or dies." The fleet's sensors went haywire as the entity pulsed with energy, revealing glimpses of countless Earths, folded and fractured. Voss steadied herself. "So, this is the origin of the folds, the reason the signal reached us," Kor whispered, awestruck. "It's testing us, judging us." Voss's reflection appeared calm and resolute. "Then we survive, and we prove humanity is worth preserving, whatever it takes." The stage was set for the climactic confrontation, where the fate of real Earth, humanity, and every possible echo would collide. The Keeper of the Fold's energy rippled across the fleet, each pulse probing minds, hearts, and memories. "Admiral," Kor said, voice strained, "it's examining everything about us, every choice, every loss." Voss clenched her jaw. "Then we show it what it means to be human. Focus on the present, not regret." The fleet formed a defensive lattice around Earth, shields resonating in harmony with the Keeper's pulses. The Keeper's form expanded, folding the void into impossible geometries. "You carry the seed of survival," it intoned, "but will you preserve it, or will your impulses destroy it?" Voss's reflection shimmered across the bridge. "We do not destroy, we endure, we adapt, and we protect life." The fleet's pulse cannons flared, synchronized with cognitive shields, creating a human heartbeat against the cosmic test. Every vessel became both shield and signal, a statement that humanity would not bow to incomprehensible forces. From the edges of the Keeper's light, shadows erupted, twisted echoes of the fleet mirroring their fears and doubts. "Kor, they're us," a young officer stammered. Voss's reflection hardened. "They are reflections, not reality. Anchor yourselves to what is true." The fleet twisted and turned, dodging attacks that mirrored every regret, betrayal, and failure from their pasts. Voss projected her memory of the lost Earth, of battles survived and sacrifices made. The shadows flinched, destabilizing, unable to withstand the clarity of choice and purpose. "Every decision, every life matters," Voss said firmly. The fleet fired in unison, striking the shadows not with destruction but with precision, anchoring them into stability. The keeper pulsed, its voice softening. "You endure not by strength alone, but by understanding. Proceed." The keeper extended a tendril of pure energy toward the fleet, forming a bridge into the center of the fold. "Core, it's offering a path, or a trap," Voss said. "We take it together." The fleet advanced, weaving through threads of energy and memory. Every pulse cannon, every shield, synchronized with Voss's intent. Inside the fold, visions of countless Earths converged, some thriving, some destroyed. Voss whispered, "So this is what we're protecting. Not just our world, but the sum of every possibility." The keeper's presence filled the fleet's minds. See the cost of choice, the weight of survival, and decide your role. Voss's reflection shimmered across every viewport. Then we act. Humanity survives, not by perfection, but by courage, memory, and will. The fold contracted violently, threads of energy intertwining, forming a vortex around real Earth. "Core, if we falter, everything collapses," Voss said, voice taut. The fleet braced, shields flaring, engines roaring in perfect harmony. Every pulse cannon fired with exact precision, weaving through the vortex to anchor the planet in stability. The keeper pulsed, projecting a final vision. Mirrored Earth merging with real Earth, timelines folding, histories overlapping. "Preserve your reality, or risk annihilation," it warned. Voss gritted her teeth. "We do not erase the past. We endure it, and we safeguard life." The fleet surged forward, piercing the vortex, striking a delicate balance between energy and intention. For a heartbeat, the universe held its breath. The vortex stabilized, yet fragments of folded Earth remained, drifting like ghostly echoes. Core's voice trembled. Some of it didn't survive." Voss nodded, somber. "Not everything can be preserved, but we saved what matters, the seed of humanity." Outside, real Earth glowed, intact, yet scarred by near erasure. The keeper's voice softened, almost maternal. "You have survived the trial. You carry memory, choice, and life itself." Voss looked at her reflection across the fleet. "Then we return to the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as guardians." The fleet adjusted course, leaving the fold behind, carrying the weight of survival and the knowledge of infinite possibilities. Yet in the distance, faint distortion shimmered, a reminder that the folds were never truly gone. Voss whispered, "Humanity will endure, no matter the echoes." The fleet drifted in orbit around real Earth, scanning for residual distortions. The folded Earth's echoes lingered, tiny ripples in space-time. "Core, it's subtle, but persistent," Voss said, eyes narrowing. The crew monitored sensors as ghostly cities shimmered across the system, fragments of memories still pulsing. Voss whispered, "Even now, it watches, waiting for the next choice." A faint voice resonated through the fleet. "Remember us." Voss's reflection shimmered on every screen. "We do. Every choice, every life, preserved in memory, not perfection." Engines hummed as the fleet adjusted, anchoring Earth's orbit and stabilizing space-time. Core exhaled. "It's quiet. For now." Voss's gaze lingered on the glowing planet. "Quiet does not mean safe, but we endure." Sensors picked up a signal from deep intergalactic space, structured, deliberate, and alien. "Admiral," Core said, "it matches no known technology. It's not from the folds." Voss frowned. Then it's something else. Something new. Possibly. A predator observing humanity's survival. The fleet readied defensive grids, engines flaring in anticipation. The signal pulsed with intelligence, a rhythm almost human yet alien. Voss projected her thoughts into the comms. We are Earth. We are human. We will endure. The response came as a cascade of light, understandable yet terrifying, hinting at civilizations far older than humanity, aware of the folds and the Keeper. Kor muttered, "We've been noticed. By something vast." Voss's reflection hardened. Then we prepare. Survival is not over. It has just begun. Real Earth's night skies shimmered with ripples of distorted light. Signals from the folds and the Keeper fading, but not gone. Kor. The folds are shrinking, but energy is still leaking, Voss said. Ships shivered under the residual stress, engines groaning. We've stabilized it for now, Voss continued, but this is only temporary. Something waits in the void beyond. From the darkness between stars, faint shapes emerged. Massive angular forms, ancient and silent. The fleet held position, engines humming like a heartbeat of defiance. Voss whispered, "We survived folds, shadows, and tests. But now, we face the unknown." Kor nodded, gripping the console. And it's watching every move. The fleet braced, a silent oath forming. Humanity would not vanish, no matter the cost. Voss activated a thought link with the fleet, transmitting memory fragments, hopes, and warnings. "This is our inheritance," she said. "Not just Earth, but every life that might follow. Protect it. Learn from the folds, survive the unknown." The fleet aligned, shields and engines synchronizing with her intent, creating a harmonic resonance through space. Signals from the folds flickered, a faint acknowledgement of their victory, but also of the unknown threat looming beyond. Voss's reflection appeared, resolute and weary. We are humanity. Not perfect, but persistent. We endure by choice. The fleet hummed as a unified heartbeat across the system. Earth below glowed, fragile yet alive, a seed of legacy and possibility. One final time, as the fleet set course for the stars beyond the system, real Earth spun peacefully, oceans gleaming, forests stretching, cities intact, scars from near erasure barely visible. Voss watched, the weight of centuries of choices reflected in her eyes. We survived the folds, the Keeper, the shadows. But the universe still waits. A distant shimmer appeared, a signal from beyond the known galaxy, promising both peril and discovery. Voss smiled faintly, voice steady. Then we go forward, not as echoes, but as humans, alive, flawed, and unbroken. The fleet accelerated into the void, engines blazing, carrying the legacy of Earth, the lessons of the folds, and the unyielding spirit of humanity. Above the planet, light flared, signaling hope, vigilance, and the promise of survival. The dawn of a new chapter had begun. Humanity endured, ready to face whatever lay in the stars. The end. Thank you for watching AstroMyths. If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button and subscribe for more epic sci-fi tales, cosmic mysteries, and mind-bending myths. And if you like this story, or have a myth, mystery, or galaxy you'd like us to explore, drop your ideas in the comments. We're always listening. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars and your mind open to the unknown.